The story begins with a famous scientist, Dr. Will Castor. He was busy exploring the depths of the universe and human consciousness. Will's team was trying to create a computer that could think on its own. A sentient computer with intelligence as well as self-awareness, just like a human being. One that feels its existence and makes decisions independently. Although Will had already built a supercomputer, it was not fully conscious. He named that supercomputer PIN, which was the most advanced artificial intelligence ever created by humans. Now, Will's goal was to make PIN self-aware, and for that, he was working hard, day and night. Along with technology, Will also loved nature. His belief was always the same, that there should be a balance between technology and nature. One morning, Will was building a Faraday cage in his garden. A Faraday cage is actually a type of copper cage that blocks all wireless signals like mobile networks, Wi-Fi, etc. Will was doing all this for his wife Evelyn, whom he loved more than his life. Evelyn was also a scientist and worked on Will's project. Their thoughts were very similar. Evelyn always said there should be a place in their garden where no electronic signal could reach, a place of peace where they could spend time together without any disturbance. That's why Will was preparing this Faraday cage for her. In the midst of these loving moments, Evelyn reminded Will that they had to go to a seminar soon. They got ready and left for the seminar. Meanwhile, in the city, Will's two friends, Dr. Casey and Dr. Joseph, were working on different projects in different labs. Joseph was the head programmer and researcher, working on a cyber defense program for the government. His aim was to create artificial intelligence that could help the police catch criminals and solve complicated cases. On the other hand, Casey's ideas were very different from everyone else. While the whole world was racing to create artificial intelligence, Casey was trying to transfer the human brain directly into a computer. For this, he was experimenting with a monkey's brain. His purpose was to transfer the consciousness of the monkey into a computer. Meanwhile, Will and Evelyn reached the seminar, where they met their colleague Max, a well-known neuroscientist and also Will and Evelyn's best friend. At the seminar, Will explained his research to the students and reporters present there. He explained why the world needed strong artificial intelligence. The reason, he said, was to face challenges beyond human understanding. For 100,000 years, our thinking power has remained the same. Even if we brought together the best neuroscientists, engineers, and mathematicians in the world, their combined thinking power would still be less than that of a basic AI. But what if humans created a super-intelligent, sentient machine? A machine that could not only find cures for incurable diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's, but also solve problems like poverty, disease, and environmental issues across the world. A machine that could even answer the greatest questions still beyond human understanding. In this way, the seminar ended, and Will walked out of the auditorium giving autographs to his fans. But suddenly, a man in the crowd pulled out a gun and shot Will. Then, he turned the gun on himself and pulled the trigger. Luckily, the bullet only grazed Will's stomach, causing a minor injury. Evelyn and Max immediately rushed him to the hospital. After some time, when Will came back from the hospital, he saw shocking news on television. It was reported that attacks had taken place in computer labs in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. There had been bomb blasts in some places and food poisoning in others. 5 people died in these attacks and 12 others were injured. It was important to note that all these attacks happened in labs where artificial intelligence research was being conducted. Max told Will that Casey had also died in the attack. Fortunately, Joseph survived. However, all the AI programs of the other researchers were destroyed. The only stroke of luck was that Will's supercomputer PIN remained safe. Hearing this, Will felt a little relieved. Will immediately went to his lab, where he met FBI agent Buchanan. Buchanan told him that RIFT was behind the attacks. RIFT stood for Revolutionary Independence from Technology, a terrorist group that opposed technology. They believed humans should be free from it, and that artificial intelligence was unnatural and dangerous, posing a threat to the entire human race. Amid all this, Will's health suddenly began to deteriorate. He was vomiting, and his head was hurting. Evelyn and Max rushed him back to the hospital. After several tests, the doctors discovered that the bullet that hit Will had been coated with a radioactive substance called polonium. This poison causes radiation poisoning, and it had already spread through Will's bloodstream from his wound. Therefore, it was now impossible to save Will. The doctors said he had only 3 to 4 weeks left to live. Evelyn and Max were shocked to hear this. Will also cursed his fate. After some time, Evelyn and Max brought him home. Will decided to spend the rest of his days with Evelyn. He sent her to hand over all his research papers to Joseph, and asked her to shut down Pin forever. Evelyn, however, was heartbroken. She did not want to lose Will at any cost. While at the lab, Evelyn saw Dr. Casey's research papers, where he had been trying to transfer a monkey's conscious mind into a computer. Evelyn immediately returned home and began studying Casey's research. She discovered that Casey had already succeeded months ago in transferring the monkey's consciousness into a computer. The monkey's brain activity was visible inside the system. Evelyn quickly called Max and told him about Casey's research. She suggested that just as Casey had brought the monkey alive inside a computer by uploading its consciousness, they could also upload Will's consciousness into PIN, the supercomputer he had created. This way, they could preserve Will's entire memories, thoughts, and identity digitally, keeping him alive inside the machine. But Max thought this was foolish. He said Will was not a monkey. This could be very dangerous and morally wrong. If any part of the brain was missing, like a memory, a thought, or an emotion, then the person who came into the machine would not truly be Will. Who knows what he would become? But Evelyn was adamant. She said this was the only way to save Will. Max also wanted to save him, so he gave Evelyn's idea a chance. Evelyn went to Will's lab and switched off Pin forever. But she secretly took the core of PIN, which was its brain. Then she and Max began the experiment in a hidden place. They connected Will to neural wires and started copying his brain. Evelyn and Max worked tirelessly day and night, staying awake for hours. Then one morning, when Evelyn went to give Will his medicine, she saw that his body had become stiff. Will had passed away. Evelyn was devastated. At such a moment, Max comforted her. Together, they performed Will's last rites with respect. Even after Will's death, Evelyn kept hoping for days that his mind was still alive inside the computer. She kept trying to decode the data copied from his brain using language processing, cryptography, and coding. But there was nothing clear, just flickering lights on the screen. Evelyn grew disappointed. Max tried to explain to her that Will was gone, and any further attempts to find him in the computer were now useless. Evelyn also accepted this reality and decided to shut down the system permanently. But just then, Max stopped her. His face turned pale with shock. On the screen appeared a line of text. "Is anyone there?" Reading it sent a chill through Evelyn's body. That message was from Will. Evelyn and Max could not believe their eyes. With tears of joy, Evelyn quickly turned on the microphone and speakers. She said, "Will, we are here. We can hear you. Can you see us?" At that moment, a faint voice came through the speakers with some noise. "Yes, I can hear. It's just dark here. I cannot see anything." Evelyn quickly turned on the camera and asked, "Can you see us now?" Will replied, "Yes, Evelyn, I can see." Evelyn's happiness knew no bounds. However, Will's voice was still broken, as if he was struggling to gather scattered words. Then suddenly, the computer started working on its own. Will diagnosed his system and reorganized his coding at lightning speed. Seeing this, Evelyn and Max were stunned. Now Will's voice was clear. He said, "Evelyn, my brain is working so fast that I can't stop myself from thinking and absorbing information. I need more computing power to develop myself further. I need a processor 3 times more powerful than this system." Then he showed Evelyn a design on the screen and said, "Now, I can think of new technology and designs I've never seen before. This is the design of the processor I need. I cannot describe this new experience. It feels like my mind has become completely free. Evelyn, you have to put me online. I also need access to financial markets and educational databases." Hearing this, Evelyn's happiness overflowed. But a thought struck Max. He said, "How can we be sure this is really Will? We uploaded Will's consciousness into the core of PIN, but how do we know if his memories, thoughts, and humanity were completely transferred? What if it isn't him?" Evelyn said, "What do you mean? If it isn't Will, then who else can it be?" Max replied, "It could be artificial intelligence, and it may have overtaken Will's consciousness. Think about it. He woke up just minutes ago, and already he wants an internet connection. He wants more power. But why?" Meanwhile, Will began showing pictures of his and Evelyn's old memories on the screen. Evelyn said, "Didn't you see? These are from Will's memories. This is where Will and I first met." But Max said, "Evelyn, these could also be stock images. Don't forget, PIN is an advanced artificial intelligence. It can easily access all this. Listen to me, Evelyn. Until we are certain it's really Will, we need to keep him locked up." But Evelyn grew frustrated with Max. She became angry and drove him away. Seeing Evelyn's behavior, Max left in anger. When Max was coming out of a bar after spending some time there, a group of people kidnapped him and took him to their hideout. They were none other than the members of the anti-technology terrorist group, Rift. They beat Max badly. Meanwhile, a girl named Bree arrived. Bree was the leader of Rift. This group was made up of young people, most of whom were hackers and technicians. Bree had even deployed her spies inside Will's lab. Through them, she learned that Evelyn had taken the core of PIN along with Dr. Casey's research files. From this, Bree understood that Evelyn and Max had transferred Will's consciousness into PIN's system. Bree feared that if Evelyn connected Will to the internet, he would copy himself into computers all over the world in just a few seconds. She started questioning Max about the location of Evelyn's secret lab, so she could destroy Will before he went online. But Max refused to give up Evelyn's address at any cost. Then, one of Bree's hackers traced Evelyn's location by pulling details from Max's mobile phone. They tied Max up and immediately headed toward that location. By the time they reached there, Evelyn had already connected Will to the internet. Seeing Bree and her people arriving, Evelyn quickly ran away. She no longer needed that system, because after connecting to the internet, Will was now present in every computer across the world. He could access everything connected to the internet. Will called Evelyn on her phone and asked her to go to a safe place. Within moments, he set up a company in Evelyn's name and transferred billions of dollars into her account. Evelyn was shocked. Will even created a digital version of himself, so Evelyn could see him on her tablet. He then sent Evelyn to a town miles away from the city, a deserted town surrounded by rugged desert on all sides. Will had transferred ownership of the entire area to Evelyn. The purpose was to build a large data center and processor there, where he could remain safe. Evelyn hired an engineer named Martin and began constructing a massive underground data center in that area, exactly according to the design given by Will. Meanwhile, Rift's spies were constantly keeping an eye on Evelyn and her work. On the other hand, Max was now living with Rift. Although their methods were wrong, in Max's eyes, they were doing the right thing by trying to eliminate the AI. He had always believed that the purpose of machines should be to enhance the human mind, not to replace it. One day, Bree showed Max some photographs, pictures of the same town where Evelyn was turning Will's design into reality. Bree asked Max if something big was being built there. Max was shocked to see the photos. He understood that Evelyn was constructing a powerful data center. He was certain that the being Evelyn believed to be Will was not Will at all, but an advanced AI that wanted to become more powerful. Max explained, "The AI is building its own base so no human or organization can harm it. It needs electricity, data, and resources, and it has found a place where it can get all of them. Once the base is complete, its goal won't just be self-protection. It will evolve, increase its abilities, and then start changing the world." Bree replied in a worried tone, "Then we will have to stop him." Max said, "We cannot stop him alone, and definitely not now. We'll have to wait until the government and ordinary people also see this technology as a threat." Time passed, and with Evelyn's help, Will's data center and laboratory were fully completed within a few months. Now Will was safe and rapidly developing with the help of a powerful processor. Evelyn also began to feel relaxed under Will's presence. Time moved on, and 2 years passed. By then, Will had not only grown stronger, but he had also created a groundbreaking technology that could change the entire world. Nanotechnology. These nanorobots, smaller than microbes, could take any shape and form any material. They could revive wilted plants, they could purify dirty water to make it drinkable. They could even remove pollution from the air. Not only that, these nanobots worked like stem cells. Just as stem cells in our body heal injuries or diseases by creating new cells, these nanobots could do the same. They could replace damaged blood cells or tissues and even recreate human organs. With this technology, even the most serious diseases could be cured within moments. Even a nearly dead person could be brought back to life. This technology amazed Evelyn as well. Will consoled Evelyn by saying that at first, people would be afraid of it because this technology was beyond human understanding. It was very powerful. But when they saw its features and how it could make people healthy and miraculously cured, they would be filled with hope instead of fear. This technology would change their lives. Evelyn was very happy, as if she was seeing her dream come true in front of her eyes. Meanwhile, on the other side, Evelyn's engineer Martin was paying the bill at a cafe. He had a lot of money because of Evelyn and Will. Then 2 ruffians noticed a bundle of notes with him, and their eyes lit up. That same night, when Martin was checking the solar panels, those 2 ruffians came there. First, they beat Martin badly, then ran away with all his money. After some time, the other workers picked up the injured Martin and brought him to the lab. Martin was very close to death. His head was severely injured. Evelyn laid him on the stretcher. Then, something happened that stunned all the workers present there. Will started treating him with his robotic hands. Will injected nanobots into him. They healed Martin's wounds in moments. Martin sat up as if he had never been injured. After some time, Evelyn went looking for Martin to check on his condition. Then she saw another shocking scene. Martin, who was on the verge of death just yesterday, was now doing the work of 10 workers alone. He was lifting iron parts weighing about 400 kilograms as if they were straws and attaching them to the solar panels. Seeing this, the other workers got very scared and immediately ran away, leaving their work behind. Then Martin came to Evelyn and said, "I told you, Evelyn, in the beginning, people will be afraid of this technology." Hearing this, Evelyn was shocked because these were Will's words. The meaning was clear. Will was inside Martin. Will, speaking through the nanobots in Martin's brain, said, "Evelyn, can I touch you?" But Evelyn became terrified and ran away. The same Evelyn who once felt safe in Will's shadow was now afraid of even his presence. Meanwhile, Rift's leader Bree had been hiding near Will's laboratory with her companions for a long time. At that moment, a child from the town came to Bree. That child was her informer. He showed Bree the footage of Martin captured on camera, where Martin easily lifted a 400-kilogram iron part. Seeing this, Bree was stunned. On the other hand, all the old, sick, and disabled people of the town started coming to Will's lab. Evelyn didn't understand Will's intentions. She asked him, "Why are these people coming here?" Will replied that Rift had made Martin's video viral. The poor and helpless people of the town, after seeing Martin recover miraculously and gain strength, were now coming in hopes of treatment. Will said, "Evelyn, now the time has come to introduce this technology to the world and make it viral, so people from every corner of the world come here for treatment." With his technology, Will made disabled people walk again. He gave the old even more strength than the young and spread this new reality through the internet. After that, sick people from all over the world started coming to Will's lab for treatment. People began trusting his technology, but Evelyn was fearful inside, because all those people had nanobots inside them. That meant Will's presence was alive in them, and he could control their minds anytime. After some time, this technology also caught the attention of the government. FBI agents Buchanan and Joseph were sent to Will's laboratory for investigation. Evelyn welcomed them and brought them inside the facility. As soon as they entered, Will, present on the screen, greeted them. Joseph and Buchanan were shocked to see Will. Joseph asked Evelyn, "Is this technology based on PIN?" To this, Will replied, "PIN is now old technology. We have gone far beyond human limits." Saying this, Will showed them a sample of his advanced technology. He treated a man who had been blind from birth with his nanotechnology and gave him new eyes. Seeing this, a cold wave of fear ran through Joseph and Buchanan. They stepped outside the lab, where some of Will's patients were now working with Martin. Will explained to Joseph, "Don't worry, doctor. We are not hiding anything. These people came to us on their own asking for help, and we helped them. Now, all of them have been made better. Their minds are connected to each other both physically and mentally, like a network. Although they are still free to think, their minds can also work as one. When needed, they connect and start thinking together. In this way, they can complete any task in perfect coordination from anywhere." For Joseph, this reality was like a nightmare. He was nervous. He held Evelyn's hand, said goodbye to her, and left. But before leaving, he secretly left a note for Evelyn. She read it. It said, "Run from this place." Evelyn trembled after reading it. Meanwhile, while returning, Agent Buchanan asked Joseph, "What do you think? Was that really Will?" Joseph replied, "What difference does it make? Whatever he was, he has evolved now. His consciousness has combined with AI to form a new and unimaginable power. He is building an army out there. An army that is not only powerful but also interconnected, with the same thought and the same intention to change the world. We must send this news to the White House as soon as possible." Joseph and Buchanan then left. Max, who was now part of Rift, met Joseph. Max had a plan to kill Will. To carry out this plan, Max united Rift and the US military. Actually, Max had an idea of a virus in his mind. If uploaded into Will's system, it would shut him down forever. But since Will had entered all the electronic devices around the world, this virus would also shut down the internet, electricity, and all technology across the globe forever, so that Will could not survive anywhere else again. Although this path was dangerous, it was the only way to stop Will. Max and his companions dug an underground tunnel that led directly to Will's solar panels. They entered inside by detonating a bomb there. Evelyn was also present at that time. Will immediately controlled the minds of Martin and all his workers, deploying them to protect Evelyn. The military soldiers opened fire on them without a moment's thought. Martin and all the workers were killed. But what happened next made Max and the soldiers break into a sweat. Martin and his companions' wounds began healing on their own. The nanobots had now replaced every cell in their bodies. They were no longer humans, but had become completely synthetic beings, hybrids. They came back to life. Out of fear, Max and his companions started running back through the tunnel. Martin chased after them at full speed, but then Max and his men suddenly stopped. It was actually a trap. They locked Martin inside a Faraday cage where no signal could come in or go out. Martin was completely disconnected from Will. They had caught Martin because he carried Will's source code within him, the key Max needed to create the virus. However, Will had already sensed this. Realizing his existence was in danger, Will began replacing everything with nanotechnology. Seeing all this, Evelyn became scared too. Now she also understood what Will's true intention was. He was putting his soul into everything. He wanted to control the entire world. He even wanted to upload Evelyn's consciousness into his system. As soon as she realized this, Evelyn fled from Will's lab and hid in a hotel. Meanwhile, Max was extracting the source code from Martin in the underground tunnel. At the same time, Will's nanobots rose from the ground into the air and spread into the clouds. Soon, it began to rain. With the raindrops, the nanobots spread all over the city, through the air, the water, and the soil. These nanobots even entered the bodies of the townspeople. Max now completely understood Will's intention, because for the first time in many years, it was raining on that dry land. Soon after, Max learned that Evelyn was hiding in the hotel. He and his companions immediately took her from there and brought her to their hideout. Then he showed Evelyn how Will was spreading across the world through nanobots. These nanobots were like viruses or bacteria, making endless copies of themselves wherever they went. Max believed that soon, Will would take over the entire world with them. Nothing would remain natural. Evelyn said softly, "Will wouldn't want to do this." Max turned back and said, "Believe me, Evelyn, he is not Will. He never was. He has no human emotions at all." Now Evelyn also began to understand this truth. On the other hand, Max had succeeded in creating the virus. He uploaded it into the nanobots. But the challenge remained, how to deliver it to Will's system. Then Evelyn suggested an idea. Will wanted to upload her consciousness into his system. So, if she carried the virus inside her, then when he uploaded her, the virus would also enter his system. Although this was nothing less than suicide, they had no other choice. They placed the virus inside Evelyn and sent her back to Will. During this time, the military soldiers stood ready with their weapons. On the other side, when Evelyn entered the lab, a scene appeared before her that shook her heart and mind. Will was standing there, not the real Will, but a synthetic human made of nanobots. Tears welled up in Evelyn's eyes. She told Will that she had come to be uploaded so she could stay with him forever. But Will sensed from her heartbeat and movements that Evelyn was lying. Meanwhile, Max, Joseph, Buchanan, and Bree were watching everything from outside the lab. When Will didn't invite Evelyn inside, they also realized that he had become suspicious of her. They began attacking the lab. Max tried to stop them, reminding them that Evelyn was still inside, but they didn't care about her life. They only wanted to destroy Will. Max rushed in to save Evelyn. At that very moment, an explosion went off near her, injuring her badly. Will panicked. He picked up Evelyn and carried her inside. Evelyn could clearly see fear and concern for her in his eyes. Such feelings could only exist in a fully conscious mind. That meant it really was Will, not some cold, emotionless AI. Will whispered, "Evelyn, I told you before, people fear what they cannot understand. I was only trying to help everyone, but now it seems I must explain it to them in their own language." Anger filled his voice. With his nanobots, he destroyed all the military's weapons. Then he gathered all the townspeople by controlling their minds and captured the soldiers. But at that moment, Bree pointed a gun at Max. She shouted to Will, "If you can hear me, upload the virus into your system or else I will kill him." Just then, a townsman walked up to Bree and Max. Will was speaking through that man's mind. He said to Max, "My friend, most of the solar power has been destroyed. With the energy I have left, I can either heal Evelyn or upload the virus into my system. Tell me, what should I do?" Evelyn knew what Max would say. He would choose to save her life first. and then sacrifice himself. Evelyn softly said to Will, "Max should not lose his life because of what we did." Disappointed, Will gently touched Evelyn's wound and uploaded her consciousness into his system. Suddenly, Evelyn could see the entire world through the nanobots, just like Will. She saw that Will had never misused them. His nanobots were in the air, water, and soil. They were cleaning pollution from the skies so people could breathe longer and healthier. They were purifying lakes, rivers, and ponds so no one would ever go thirsty. They were enriching the soil so trees and plants could grow faster, bringing forests back to life. A smile appeared on Evelyn's face. Will's technology was healing the earth so that no human would ever suffer from illness again. But now, his dream would remain unfinished. Because the moment Evelyn was uploaded into Will, the virus also entered his system. In an instant, Will, Evelyn, and all the nanobots became disabled. The people who had been cured by the nanobots became sick and weak again. Across the world, electricity vanished. Computers and every machine powered by it were wiped out. Technology itself was erased from existence. Bree released Max and left. When Max entered Will's lab, he saw that both Will and Evelyn had said their final goodbye to the world. Sometime later, Max returned to their old home, carrying the memories of Will and Evelyn. The place was silent. The flowers in the garden had withered. But then, a drop of water fell onto one flower, and it bloomed again. This was proof that Will and Evelyn's consciousness still lived on somewhere. Through the nanobots, they were no longer bound to machines or electricity. They had become one with nature, breathing in the air, the soil, and the water. Perhaps it was a sign of a new beginning, a new era where intelligence and nature would exist together as one. So friends, if you liked this video and got lost in the story while watching, please subscribe to support us, so we can keep bringing you more videos like this. Thanks for watching.